going to do this Fear into Faith workshop today. Why? Because it's that time of year, and we've been talking about glowing up all month, right? We've been talking about stepping into our perfect next version of ourselves. Glowing up is about releasing what no longer serves us and stepping into what's next, right? So we're going to talk about that. In Science of Mind, Ernest Holmes talks about misplaced faith. And he says, but what is fear? Fear is nothing more nor less than faith misplaced. And we'll get into the pages in just a moment. A belief in two powers instead of one. A belief that there can be a power opposed to the divine whose influence and ability may bring us discord. In other words, to correct all the evils in the world, what would be but to have the positive faith rightly placed. He goes on to say, a faith that lays hold of the integrity of the universe, the beneficence of God, and the unity of all life. Nevertheless, we cannot have faith in that which we do not in some measure understand. Right? So what is Ernest Holmes saying there? What's he saying? He's saying that we can put our faith in our fear instead of the possibility, instead of faith in divine or God or spirit or it with a capital I, whatever it is that you want to call it. What happens is we can actually start to put so much faith into our fear that that's what drives us. That's what drives us. We're coming upon the Day of the Dead, the Latin celebration of honoring those that have passed. Today, we're going to look at what we can release and let die off so that we can step into our new version of self. Ready for that?
Yes,
Yeah.
please.
Okay. So next week, Reverend Tanya is going to do her amazing Dia de los Muertos service. Come, bring pictures of your beloveds, draw something, or write on a piece of paper and fold it. Something that you want to honor from your past and let it go. Let it go. It's so important to do that. So we're going to dive into this. We're going to dive into this because there's so much deep work that can be done. And for those of you online, we're putting up the worksheets for you. We were unable to attach them in a download. So if you put your email address in the chat, we will make sure that immediately after service, we send these to you. Okay? So you can use a piece of paper for now. But we're going to dive into this Fear to Faith worksheet. How many have done this Fear to Faith worksheet in the past? A couple, right? Right. We've done this in the past, and I actually did it recently, and I realized there was something that was holding me back that I got to work through, that I got to release, and that I got to bring into my daily practice, this releasing prayer, which we will also get to. So here's what I want you to do. The box numbers are very odd. The first box is on the bottom right corner. And I'm going to invite you to write in that corner a brief description of a challenge in your life that you are currently facing. There's no need for details. Just focus, jot down whatever word or words describe the situation that captures the essence and the feeling of this challenge. And as you do, be aware that what you write down is the experience, or this experience is the result of your former way of thinking, a way that no longer serves you. It could be, I'm not good enough. I don't have enough money. I'm angry at my partner, my spouse, my neighbor. It could be any of those things. And by the way, this is yours. You're not going to have to share any of it. So and I'd like you to put the date on it. Today is October 26th, 2025. In a worksheet? Everybody have something? Anybody need more time? Okay. Reverend Dale has it for you. All right, in box number 2, which is up and to the right, right here, left. I want you to write a brief description of what you hope the outcome of your challenge will be. And as you do, notice that hope is an idea that arises in response to a hidden doubt or a fear. Notice that the substance of that idea is an intuition of spirit, which is the experience of faith. What is it that you hope will be the outcome of whatever it is that's happening? Maybe what you want is peace or a resolution. Maybe you want to be able to look in the mirror and say, I'm beautiful. Maybe you want to be able to pay your bills in gratitude for the abundance that you already have. So remember, in box 1, we're writing what a challenge that we are currently facing in our life. In box 2, what it is that we hope will happen. That's our desire. When you look up, I know you're done. Okay. In number 3, that's in the cloud on the top. Number 3, I want you to write a description. Oh, sorry. I want you to write down a word of God on which you plan to build your faith. So a sampling of the words of God are across the top: abundance, balance, beauty, freedom, joy, love, order, peace, power, unity, wholeness, and wisdom. Those are some examples. What is the word that you want to build your faith in? It can be any word associated with the nature of the divine that causes you to be inspired. Another way to make your choice is to identify the quality of the divine that seems to be most lacking in the original condition that you wrote about in box number 1.
What was that last part?
If you're not able to find the word for number 3, look at number 1 and see what God quality is missing there. Maybe that could be your word. Anybody need help finding a word? Everybody have something?
Not a sentence.
That's okay.
Have to condense it into one word, so you use slowly, like somewhere else.
Yeah, but that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. She said that she has a sentence. Will she need to condense that down to a word or so to add in somewhere later? Yes. But that's okay. That's okay. As we work through the process, you might find that word. Right? You might find that word. All right, now we're going to go into box number 4 under the fear symbol that's on your right-hand side of the page. And write down your greatest fear about the outcome of your challenge in number 1. And try to briefly describe your fear in a way that captures as much of the feeling as possible. As much of the feeling as possible. If you want to experience self-love, what is your greatest fear? That you're not lovable? That there's no way that you can love yourself? That that no one loves you? That could be your greatest fear. If it's about finances, maybe it's about that there's a lack in the universe. Bless you. The description of your fear, that's the nature of your doubt. That's what's holding you back. That's the nature. So what's going to happen? How does it feel? And in the line right above that, I want you to name your fear. Pick a single word, and they're very small underneath that line 5. I'll read them out loud, but try to briefly identify a word that best captures the nature of the fears you described in the previous step. This is a word of error. And it could be any word that evokes an emotional response similar to the feeling of the fear you described in number 1. So maybe it's lack or debt. Maybe it's conflict or limitation, ignorance or rejection, death or chaos, judgment, dependency, duality, disease, poverty. Any of those could be your word of error. That's your false belief. If I'm working on feeling as though I'm not good enough, that would be a feeling of lack, right? That would be a feeling of lack. Anybody need more time on this one? This can be tough. This one can be tough. You can just gently raise your hand if you need more time. Okay, because I don't want you to be stuck there. So number 6, that's just to the left of that, above the angel of hope. I want you to write your word of resistance. This is a word that you always tend to do to resist your word of error in order to keep it from happening so that you can experience your word of faith. So for example, if you believe in rejection, you might tend to appease others in order to attempt to have an experience of love. Right? If your word of resentment is debt, you might fall into depression or withdraw as a reaction to feeling debt, indebtedness. If your fear is of disease, you might fall into, you might become a rebel. Right? You might say, this isn't going to get me and I'm going to prove it wrong, but do so in a way that isn't healthy for your body or your mind. If your fear is of rejection, you might flee, you might just avoid it altogether. These are all valid. Anybody need more time? No? Okay. Number 7, this is where I want you to go within. Just drop your gaze or close your eyes. And I want you to ask that part of you, that deep knowing part of you, to reveal to you the name or names of any person that you need to forgive in order to release your word of faith into expression in your life. Who is it that I need to forgive so that I can experience my word of faith? And in number 7, I want you to write, I accept you, and their name or initials and then right after that, I want you to write, when it says, I bless you, again, I want you to write their name or initials or a symbol, whatever works for you.
Same person or two?
Same person. Who is it that you need to forgive? Maybe it's a parent or a neighbor, a partner, a friend. Maybe it's somebody in the public eye. Whoever it is that you need to forgive. And in your heart, in your mind, I want you to read this to yourself. I accept you. And I bless you. And you can say this for each person that you may have thought about. I accept you. And I bless you. See, well, what happens when we accept that thing that we need to forgive and we bless that thing that we need to forgive? Anyone? What happens when we accept it and forgive it? We what?
Release it.
We release it. Yeah. We release it. What if you don't believe it the first time you say it out loud? And you say it again. Say it again. Say it again. I love to take this and put it on my mirror in my bathroom. Because, boy, I could sit like this, right? We all can. I'm so angry at this or that, or, the East Wing of the White House is being torn down, and I'm so angry about that, right? But as long as I'm sitting like this, what's happening?
Nothing.
Well, yeah, but what's happening within me?
Shrinking.
What's that?
Shrinking.
I'm shrinking.
Holding on.
I'm holding on to my anger. And what happens when we hold on to our anger? It becomes more, I heard another voice. You become stagnant. Dis-ease, right? Dis-ease happens. I don't know about you, but I was in a situation where as I was stressed out, my shoulders would go up and up and up and muscles would tighten and tighten and tighten and tighten until my back went out. And I didn't know what to do. My upper back went out, my neck went out, and then I realized my lower back went out because then the tightness went down and sciatica kicked in. And if anybody's had sciatica really bad, Oh, you can't stand up, you can't sit down, you can't lay down, everything hurts. It runs right down the back of your legs, all the way to your feet. That's what happens when we hold these resentments in. So if we say, I accept you and I bless you, it doesn't mean that we're saying it's okay, whatever is going on. It's just saying, I accept you and I bless you. One of my favorite ones is in classes way back. One of my first 4 classes I took in Science of Mind, people would say, well, we're supposed to love everybody. What do you mean? What about Hitler? I get it. What about Hitler? What about somebody that you just cannot stand what it is they're doing? What about them? The teacher said, I want you to imagine them as a newborn baby in their mother's arms. And can you imagine Hitler as a newborn baby in his mother's arms? Yeah, he still has a little mustache. That's exactly what comes up for me, right? Right? But he's a newborn. There's nothing but perfection there. That's the part you're blessing. That's the part you're accepting. Because when you can bless someone else and accept someone else, when you can accept and bless, you're not only accepting and blessing them, but you're accepting and blessing who? Yourself. Yourself. There's a saying, you cannot hold a pill of poison for those you hate and take it yourself. You can't. You're just hurting yourself. So in number 8, in the bottom, this is for you to do later. I want you to look at this later, and I want you to complete the rest of the worksheet. The appropriate time to fill this section out is after the challenge has been overcome. That's the time to give thanks and identify the way in which the word of God has been made flesh in your life, when you're actually feeling the divine as you. As you. This is also a place to record any wisdom you received in the process, right? And when you finish this sheet, make sure you put the date on it. Make sure you put the date on it for your own records. So we're gonna set ourselves up for the releasing prayer. Are there any questions so far? Any confusion? No? This is a really good practice to use all the time in your life. All the time. I use it for a lot of different things. So at the bottom, I want you to write, I release my belief in, and take the word from number 5 on your page. I release my belief in whatever that is. That's in number 5. And the next line, I release my need to, whatever it is in number 6. And finally, I am grateful, God or spirit, you can cross that G word out if you don't like it. You can write whatever word you want to use for that energy that is moving through, in, through, and around all things. I'm grateful that that energy is write your word of faith from line number 3 in there. Maybe it's, I'm grateful God is the love that I am. Now, this is a shortened version of this. This is actually a really deep meditation that we don't have time for today, right? And we can do it. If you really want to dive into this, we can do this. I'm happy to do a longer workshop on this. But getting the primer, getting that pump prime to me is really powerful, right? It's just getting me to go, oh, wait, hold on, there's something there. Oh, wait, hold on, there's something there. So I gave you on the back side of that the releasing prayer, which is what you did at the bottom of your page. But there are movements to this. And why do we do movements to our statements? Anybody know why?
Body.
It's embodiment, right? When we do a movement to a statement, we're actually bringing it into our bodies. My mother used to go in the backyard. I think I've shared this before. And she'd go into the backyard and she'd get, have a rough day. And she'd go in the backyard, throw her arms up in the air and say, that's it, I'm done, you take it. And I'd say, Mom, who are you giving it to? She says, I don't care. You take it, I'm done, right? It's powerful. It's actually a physical release out of her body. So you ready to do this releasing prayer together? Okay, I'm going to mirror this. Gail's going to do it with me. I'm going to have everyone stand up. You're going to say this out loud. We're all going to say it together. So you turn facing me so they can see you, and you follow me. You're going to say these out loud together. If we all say them, nobody can hear them, right? Right? So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to put our hands over our heart. The first one we're going to do is we're going to put out our left arm. And as we do, we're going to say, I release my belief in whatever it was. So do it, hands on heart. Say it again. I release my belief in lack. And then we're going to do the other arm out. I release my need for. Perfect. I am grateful to God. Yes, I'm grateful God is the. And then bring our hands back into our hearts, just accepting that manifestation as already done. Shall we do it again?
Yes.
All right. I release my belief in.
I'm unloved.
I release my need for. I am grateful God is love. And then hands in, I am whatever that word is. I am love. Let's do it again, 3 times. I release my belief in lack. I release my need for all my needs, and I am grateful for the wealth that I am. I am the wealth. Go ahead and have a seat. Go ahead and have a seat. There's something about doing this physical movement that moves the energy that's within us, right? If your release is looking like I'm releasing, right? Do it. I'm accepting. Do it. I am grateful. Do that because I am all that there is. That's the big part. I am love. I'm grateful that God is the love that I am, and I am love. Right? Right? What's a word that you're claiming for yourself? Anyone?
Power.
Power.
Wholeness.
Wholeness. Abundance. Harmony. Forgiveness.
Love.
Love.
Wisdom.
Wisdom. Freedom.
Freedom.
Freedom. What's that?
Contentment.
Contentment. Right. All of these things that we are claiming are good. This is what the universe is saying. It's yours, baby. Have it. Claim it. Step into that. Step into that. As you do this prayer, do this 3 times every day for a minimum of 7 days. I want you to do this 3 times in a row, 7 days in a week. You could do it longer. If you're not believing this for yourself, keep doing it. Because what's going to change? You're going to start to shift the neural pathways in your brain. You know, our brains are elastic. They can move, they can change, they can do new things. And so when we start practicing this over and over and over, it becomes a habit. It becomes a habit. They say it takes 21 days to make a habit. I don't know. I think that was debunked at some point. Is it 28? Right? So do this for 7 and see what happens. See what happens. I gave you another one, another page called the Oneness Prayer. And this one I'm going to invite you to take home. This is a prayer for healing of your relationship with whomever, whatever. But it's really powerful because it says there is only one life. This life is good. This life is God. This life is my life now. And knowing that I am one with the life that is the divine. You can change your words, whatever you want. I therefore know that I am one with each and every expression of this divine and sacred life, which includes the beloved, whomever it is that I am doing a oneness prayer with, because I know that the one life of God cannot be against itself. I therefore know that I cannot be against that person, nor can that person be against me. Together in the perfect wholeness of the one life that is God, that person and I can only be for a fuller and greater expression of our own true nature, which is love. And out of the self-giving nature of this love, there can only be a harmonious integration and a glorious revelation of that wholeness. Perfection and beauty of the divine through my physical flesh body right now. I give thanks for the presence of that person in my life, for by this presence, I have been shown a part of myself that I have yet to love. A part of myself which I now invite into the wholeness of my being, which is that Christ being. That Christ being. And is in this awareness of oneness that I give thanks to the glory of God for the healing power and the presence of love in my life. I am grateful. God is gracious. And so it is.
So it is.
You get to do that as a part of your daily practice. And what happens when we bless the other one, when we gift them with love? Whoever it is that we're struggling with, or whatever it is that we're struggling with, what happens when we give them our love? It comes back. Right. Because you know what happens when you point at someone? There's 3 fingers pointing right back at you. Or for this spider right here, 6, 5. Little spider going, oh, there he goes, right back down again. That's funny. There's always fingers pointing back at you. So rather than point out hatred and anger and frustration, it's all pointing back at you. Instead, point out the beauty and the abundance and the love in the world. You're going to experience more of that. You willing to do that this week?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I am. And again, that releasing, doing that forgiveness process, that is used to expel that from our body. So I want to share one last thing with you. The reason that we do this 3 times in a row, at least 7 days in a row, is because we're changing the subconscious or the carnal mind that is associated with our physical being. This is a much more difficult practice than, or it's a much more difficult process because the aspect of our being is highly resistant to change of any kind. Nobody likes change. We all resist it. So there's going to be moments where you're going to think, oh, I'm good. I did that. I'll do it later. Or, oh, don't overdo it. Right? There might be the feeling of, oh, I'm doing it wrong. Or this will never work. Anybody ever try something and like, this is never going to work? I'm saying this affirmation over and over and over again. It's never going to work. Anybody ever have that experience? Yeah. Right. Or the other one, there's too much to do right now. I don't have time for this. Since when do you not have time for yourself? Because this is not about the other person. This is about you. My favorite one. Uh-oh, I feel a nap coming on. I love that. Oh, I have so much to do. I'm tired. No, I can stop and I can take 5 minutes out of my day and I can do these prayers. Because the person it's going to shift is myself. And when I can shift myself into a place of joy and harmony and love and contentment, then I enjoy being around myself much more. So that's your homework for the week. That's what I have. That is the Fear to Faith worksheet. Again, let's go back to Ernest Holmes. In Effective Prayer, he says, fear and faith are identical in that the energy used is used in the one is the same energy that is used in the other. The same energy you put into fear is the same energy that you would put into faith. So turn your fear into faith. What is the opposite of what it is that you're afraid of? There's only one energy in the universe, and this energy is the energy of thought. Ernest Holmes believes that everything starts with a thought. If we're thinking fear, we're going to experience fear. He says, realizing that it is a mental attitude, you can do this very easily. Look at the thing which you fear and examine the thought or fear which you have about it and convert that thought into one of faith. That's what you just did. You took the first step, and I'm so proud of you. Again, this is for you. You can fold it, put it in your pocket. You don't have to share it with anybody, or you can share it with maybe a prayer partner, somebody you know that will support you, right? Any questions? Any final thoughts? Shelley?
I wanted to say that it's a lot like physical therapy. The more repetitions of this you do, and the more senses you contribute to doing it, the more deeply it will take hold.
Yes.
And that line 3, I'm grateful God is the whatever that I am. Write down, put it in your pocket. Don't do it 3 times a day. Do it every time you think of it. Do it 3 times. And do like I mean, throw your arms out there.
Yeah.
Or stamp your feet. Say it loudly, convincingly. And that's the message you're getting about that with people.
I'm going to repeat it. But Shelley was sharing that this is like physical therapy. You do it over and over and over again. You create a new balance in your body and you create new strength. And what she's saying is, take that last line. I am grateful that God is the blank that I am. Write it down, put it in your pocket, carry it around, repeat it over and over and over and over and over, because that's what's going to shift your belief. Did I capture that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. That's creating new neural pathways in your brain. I have old neural pathways that are gone, like how to play the flute. Those neural pathways are gone. I was really good, but I haven't been since I was about 14, right? I've tried picking up a flute. I don't have that. I can't even blow into it anymore. That's gone because I replaced those neural pathways with different and new things. I can be grateful for my experience in learning how to play an instrument and playing with a band and working together. But I don't have to know how to do that anymore. It's the same thing with this belief. Shelley, thank you for that. Yes, ma'am.
And in a very compacted version of this, I don't know if any of you remember back in the days they used to have the firebox. And I think the firebox radio. And you get your whole body energized. We ran around the block 3 times and we were so neurologically going firing. And then you give yourself a message of what your experience is going to be. Mine was cool months. And I walked through burning coals about the length of this room, about 6 feet wide. My people just fine. So you can change your thinking and change your life.
Yes, you can change your thinking and change your life. Shelley was talking about an experience that she had where she was creating so much energy, so much good energy in her body and adrenaline in her body that she was able to walk across hot coals without having any burns or any other energies or any other injuries. It can happen. I've bent rebar with love. I've broken boards with love. One day we'll do a workshop on those, right? There's things that you can do that you don't believe you can do until you really believe in yourself and you really believe in that thing that is greater than the other. So let's just go into prayer. Let's go into prayer, wrapping this up. Is there any comments or questions online? No? Okay. Again, if you're online and you would like the worksheets for this, drop your email in there and we will make sure that we get them to you immediately after service.
I comment real quick. One thing that you said that resonates for me is that you release what you're looking for too. So like you have the fear and then the outcome you release, so that you let that go and you wait. You know, you be patient basically. So to me, I've been wanting more of the outcome and I gotta release the outcome too.
Yes, yes. John was saying that one of the things that stood out for him was also releasing the outcome. Not only wants to release the condition, but he can release the outcome. We do that because if we release the outcome of what we're expecting, it might come to us in a completely different way. Something else might come that's better. One of my very favorite personal prayers is this or something better. This or something better. This or something better. So you can release your expected outcome so that you can open yourself up to all possibilities. Thank you. So let's just go into that prayer pose, whatever it may be for you. For me, it's often my chin up or just barely down, where I am allowing myself to be open to the heart of the divine. So including our oneness prayer in this, let's just know that there is only one life. Then that life is good. That life is God's life, and that life is my life now. We know that each one of us is one with that life, and therefore we know that we are one with each and every expression of the divine and sacred life. We know that the one life of God cannot be against itself. Therefore, we cannot be against anything because it's all God. In the perfect wholeness of the one life that is God, we can only be for a fuller and greater expression of our true nature, which is love. Absolute, pure love. Just like that newborn baby in its mother's arms. Absolute, pure love. That's the essence of who we are. And when we claim that, when we know that to be the truth, we can say, yes, 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 Spirit, I want more of that. I want more of that. This or something better is waiting for me. All I have to do is be the dream that I wish to come true. All my dreams are waiting for me to come true to this love that I am. And so when I become true to those dreams, when I become the love that I am, I can open myself up to all that there is. We can open ourselves up to all that there is. And sit in gratitude as we watch the love pour. Just like the rain comes down, the love just pours over us. It pours over anyone we may be feeling discord with. It pours over our entire planet, and it pours out into the universe, into the galaxies. See, because we can recognize that. And so as we recognize that, we sit in a place of gratitude, saying, thank you, Spirit. Thank you for the reminder of this life, this love, this energy. And when we can sit in true gratitude and really feel how grateful we are for what it is, the gifts that are given to us, that's when we can release our prayer. That's when we can release our prayer into the law of mind, knowing that it's already done. That the health and the wellness, the abundance, the love, all of that is already ours. And all we need to do is open our eyes and move in that direction. So I say, thank you, Spirit. Thank you, God. And we just anchor this prayer by simply saying together, and so it is. I'm gonna turn it over to Raina.
So now is the time that we pass our offering baskets. Reverend Gail, you're gonna pass this?
You think you're going to sell?